We now join the godfather of electronic music, Pete Tong, as he talks to Ben Turner about his 25 years experience in the music industry.
Well, I started in the 70s, really, just out of school, when, DJs weren't kind of that famous and DJs didn't get to travel the world. And the only way of probably becoming famous was, or kind of further in your career, once you'd worked out you didn't want to be a pop DJ, was to actually get on the radio. And then the next way of kind of validating yourself was to, seemed one good idea at the time, was to get yourself into the record business. When I arrived on Radio 1, I was always a big DJ. I was a big DJ in the southeast of England. You got to think back to that time. We didn't travel the country, let alone travel Europe, let alone travel the world, even in 1991. And I used to ring clubs up. I rang Venus in Nottingham up. And we used to say, I'm Pete Tong, and I'm quite good, and would you book me? And that's actually how I got to work on that circuit, and I did it with James Barton. I went up to the 051 Club, whatever it was. Fucking horrible, sweaty ravers, like absolutely insane, what am I doing here? And asked him for a gig at Cream, and that's how our relationship started. So even though I was on Radio 1 then, and you're in the middle of the kind of acid house era, and everything's kicking off, but that's how I started. And after the world had 6 or 7 years of Pete Tong on Radio 1, and then kind of, as generations change, if you grew up with me, then you kind of accept me. But if you are a young kid and you start listening to the radio when you're 12, 13, 14, then Pete Tong is a Radio 1 DJ. He's not a cool acid house warehouse DJ. So there was a period at the end of the 90s where I did it again. I called up Bugged Out and a few of these other clubs who would never book me. And I said, I'd come and do it for pretty much nothing. And we'd go through another wave. And that helped me for a while. And I think it was the same theory when I came to the conclusion of doing an Ibiza residency.